recap I've ever written.
All the way? Okay. Welcome in.
Hello.
I'm used to hearing the music. I didn't even realize. Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account to get amazing odds boosts. It's been a hectic night.
Thank God the cameras didn't come on. 100% of us were on our phones.
Yep.
But yeah, it's been a hectic night.
No, it would have been great had we all been on our phones. Nobody said anything, and it's like 30 seconds live, and we're still just doing
staring
this.
at our phones.
It's a genuine of those like cold opens. Oh, I didn't even see you there, but for real.
But we actually had no idea.
Oh, shit, I didn't see that was on.
If you guys didn't know, we're doing an event with Lacroix Hockey tonight down at the bar. We had a bunch of amazing alumni of the Avalanche here. We're going to have more. Milan Hejduk's going to join us on the show for the second period. So you're going to want to be a part of that. You're going to want to tell your friends. And if you want to ask a question to Hejduk, you see that QR code right on the screen there? Go use that. Go donate $20 to Lacroix Hockey. Help support hockey here in Colorado. Ask your question, and you can ask Hejduk whatever you want, assuming it's like not something terrible. If you say something stupid, we're not going to...
Yeah, if you spend money to ask a dumb question that we aren't going to ask him, like, thanks for the money.
Yeah. But, you know, if you ask a reasonable question, we will ask it. Also, you can just support Lacroix Hockey in general. They're a great organization. They're already doing so much with us and the sport of hockey here in Colorado.
Yeah, we'll get us bad food take.
I have to just shout out Super Starkey 55. We just announced Milan Hejduk's coming on, and they took a second to call out, it's nice to have me on. That makes me feel real
also
good.
Happy for Milan.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We got to pump those tires so that you get back on them and get the fuck out of here.
I was going to say, yeah, exactly.
Allie want to kill McCarr puck. That is what you were seeing.
Yeah, had an awesome silent auction. All sorts of Avs merch.
I thought you were like waiting
yeah,
to
actually,
say
I did want to see. Is it a specialty puck? Oh, it's gorgeous.
With a certificate of authenticity.
So there you go. This is what you miss out on when you don't come down to the bar. Again, support Lacroix Hockey. Those guys are amazing. We'll have Eric Lacroix on the show later as well to talk a little bit more about it. Also, if you weren't aware, there's an Avs game tonight.
Huh?
I know, hard to believe. Not sure the Avs showed up for this game, but they won it anyway.
I was going to say, I'm not sure anybody outside of Pavel Francouz was aware that there was an Avs game to be played
Andreas
this
Englund
evening.
was definitely there.
He was in the lineup, that's for sure.
Yeah. Look, the Avs won the game 3-2 despite getting outshot 4-1 on the night. So
Pavel Francouz 2-0 against the Hurricanes this year. His only 2 wins thus far. He's only played 5 games. Both of his wins come against the Hurricanes team where...
Shouldn't those be turned off?
At least from a shot standpoint, the Avs have gotten pretty outplayed both times. We talked about him in the pregame that he needed to have a good game for this depleted Avalanche team going on the road against a team that is high shot volume, all that stuff, good possession metrics. Frankie showed up.
Really quickly, while the Super Chats are appreciated, don't give us Super Chats tonight. Go give it to Lacroix Hockey instead.
Use that QR code. Yeah. It's Venmo. It's the easiest thing possible. We do appreciate him, though.
We
Yeah,
love
you
the
guys
love.
are the best.
Show it to Lacroix Hockey
Definitely.
for tonight because
It's their night.
the event was awesome. If you watched the watch along with us, you got to see John Mitchell, Rick Barry. We had Kyle Quincy on as well. There were also, Peter Budai was here. People got to chat him up. It was a fun event. Anyway.
This person, Hetty, said, do we own the Canes? It just made me think of Raising Canes. Now I want to get out of here before the tendies close.
Not going to make it.
I saw
This man and his tendies. As
Bro.
long as I've known him, man, he loves his tendies.
I saw it. Don't think I didn't. Chick-fil-A and Canes were the only right answers on that entire thing. I do love tendies.
I didn't watch it because we were not represented. Therefore, incomplete poll.
Who was it that said Jimmy John's? Not a fast food place, obviously. Come on.
Yeah, that's not fast food.
Come on.
A guy that's played golf all his life would think that's
Adam,
fast food.
Didn't Adam say like Chipotle or something? Like clearly
Yeah,
not fast food.
there were some ones where it's like, I
There
guess
were
if you
some-
don't want to participate in the prompt, that's correct.
There were some fast casuals.
Yeah. See, there's a line between fast casual. Like,
Yeah.
thank you for getting this, AJ.
Do we?
You get it.
There.
No,
Should we
get
try to
it.
have
I
a?
take back my pumping tire joke.
Can we get through a 60-second rundown? The 4 of us together. Can we manage it?
Or you mean like, are we gonna like sing it in harmony? Or?
Yeah, in sync,
In
all the way.
German.
No, just hit all the details
know-
tonight.
Megan's going to do the whole thing in German, confirmed.
No,
Here we go.
She's referencing Rick Barry talking about German fans singing.
She
all
already
game
said
long.
it, though.
Das Avalanche.
Yeah.
All right, hell yeah.
That's all I got.
Anyway.
I don't have a 60
I don't think we can
rundown.
do it in 60 seconds. But Avs win 3-2 in a game where they end up getting outshot 14-46.
15.
48.
They got the
40
fifth.
What
it
was-
48 to 15
48
was
to
the final
15.
Was the
score.
Lecky
Okay.
shot 15? I thought
it
that was
was.
14. Can we also, I think I've shown some love already. Can we show some appreciation for the fact that Altitude got a shot counter
Yeah.
on their broadcast?
It's great.
After
It took them long enough, but
7
it's
years.
great.
It is great. It's great that we knew that right offhand. Nobody had to look.
I looked on NHL.com.
That
Yeah, I've
too.
got the app open right now.
The Avs were the ones to score first pretty early on. A beautiful play from Lehkonen, able to force a puck to Erod in the middle, who finishes nicely.
I mean, it's good hard work. I can't believe there's no assist on that play.
It's Lecky deserves one for sure.
Absolutely.
Both him and Nate. Nate does the work there on the wall to
Yeah.
keep that puck
was
in.
The
good
Avs
work.
then spent the next 30 minutes of the hockey game seeing how long they could go without getting a shot on goal and keeping the lead. They genuinely
Sebastian
just...
Aho goal was a good one from him.
And- right.
It's a tough, that's a tough
Canes
play
get one back off
defensively.
a scramble puck where
Yeah.
bodies are
where,
flying.
Where
and-
Aho makes a nice play.
Yep.
The shot gets blocked, and then it pops back out to him, and then he just, that's nasty.
Right.
Yep.
He just goes
Far
top
down
shelf
wrist shot.
and it's over a blocker. On a left-handed goalie, maybe there's a low chance for a great glove save there. But on Francouz's blocker, no.
You're in a 1-1 game, but credit to the Avs. They did a good job of taking advantage of the chances they got, which weren't many, but they did an okay job. Alex Newhook catches Martin Netjes in the neutral zone, just beats him up the ice, gets
Yep.
a nice stretch pass.
That's the skating that we've wanted to see, man. That's stretching defense and actually putting pressure through the neutral zone with your skating. And that's where we haven't seen that from Newey.
He gets it, and he puts a nice finish
What
on
a
it, gets
finish,
ranted
too.
a bite
What a great
hard.
goal.
Yeah.
He's got the guy right on his back, and he just has the he still makes that move. And the puck, if you go and watch it, the puck's rolling on him, and he still is like, we go into the backhand.
It's when you see stuff like that. It's why I really do. I think Alex Newhook has so much upside as a potential second line center. The tools there's so many tools there that he just has. We talked a lot about consistency and reliability in the pregame. That's literally what he's missing. That's the only thing he's missing.
Well, and stop high sticking people.
Yeah, that would help too.
Like, it seems like every game he's high sticking somebody else. Like, what you got, Hatchet, man?
The high sticking has to stop, but this feels goals like that for Newey feel less like where did that come from and more like, okay, it's finally getting there.
Right.
Yeah.
So hopefully there's more of that to come here, which I'm sure there's at least some, but hopefully there's a lot more of that to come.
Yo, I said pregame. Jared's doing his postgame or pre-show. Jared's doing his postgame right now. It's one media scrum I'm probably happy to not be in right now. That dude,
You know he's going to hate this game.
even after win, which game was it? Carolina last week. There was a game recently.
You're right,
They
they
won
won.
by
I
multiple
think-
It's
goals,
probably
It was
the other Carolina game. Yeah.
and he was pissed about the way his team had played. That's what makes this team so fun. That's why they win games like this. The standard for them is just higher, and they have a way of shaking off. Hey, we just got caved in for 60 minutes. None of it matters if we score the next one.
This is the thing. If you're Washington, looking at this, looking ahead for Saturday, you're not excited for the Avs coming in. You already weren't excited for the Avs coming in. You're playing poor hockey. You can't get stops out
and
of
the
any of
Avs
your
are winning
goalies.
games like this one.
But
yeah.
but the Avs don't put games like this together.
Yep.
They don't string these together.
Yep.
They happen sometimes, and then they usually get good and mad about it, regardless of the result. And they come out the next game looking like the Avs. Like, I'm going to go ahead and prematurely call a blowout on Saturday.
we'll get to that in a little bit. Going through the rest of this game, after the Avs go up 2-1, they're pretty much under siege for the rest of this hockey game.
Yeah, well, statistically for sure. And it didn't really start to feel that way until
The last 12-ish minutes.
Yeah, whenever it was Rick Barry said
Yeah,
that, whatever
He's like,
timestamp it was, he
hasn't
was like,
rammed them down their throats
not-
yet, and it's
they're
like,
not really-
it started
Down our
just
throats.
then.
yeah,
Then they
and then
jump
they
down
are.
them.
Yeah.
What is that actually, Blaze? What is that picture?
I think it is.
Is that from when you were like 12, Blaze? Anyway.
I'm actually about to get up from this couch and go look at that picture closer because there's a chance that's my favorite thing of all time.
Yeah, I see a puka shell necklace. It's definitely him.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
while Jesse's looking at that, the Avs are under siege. Pavel Francouz is playing great.
I think that's Blaze with hair.
And then
Is that hair Blaze?
Youth Blaze.
Andreas Englund just runs into Pavel Francouz.
Yeah, like a mother of all
Just-
miscommunication.
yeah.
What the hell are you doing?
Blaze. Holy fuck. Yeah, that was he like dropped the shoulder too.
Yeah, like what?
Like
I
smoked his. We're
I
watching
can't-
it live, and we're like, "What is
I can't
going
possibly
on?
understand what was going through his head in that
Yeah.
moment because Frankie clearly makes it look like he wants to play this puck. And it's not like Englund slows down for a handoff or something. He just runs right through him. Like,
Didn't look like he was trying to like slip through him in
Yeah,
the boards.
right,
He just runs into his goalie who has the puck. He just smoked his guy.
He reacted
all
as
it
if he
was.
looked up and was like 2 feet from his goaltender, but he was staring at him the whole way.
Yeah.
And
Looking
then,
right at him.
and then he
Like-
compounds it because the shot that comes in, he kicks
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the,
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah,
to
yeah,
the
yeah,
middle
yeah,
of the
yeah,
ice,
yeah.
Yeah.
right to Martin Netches.
Frankie was back
And
in
like-
net by that time.
Like I'm not gonna blame him because he definitely does not open up the skate of his skate like that and intentionally kick it to the middle.
Of course not.
He's trying to block the shot, and he's
But
like
still,
he
that's-
is full blown shitting his pants too.
that's
like,
the world giving him
full-blown.
a second chance, and he did not pick
Yeah,
it up.
and it just goes so poorly on that one. But it was just like, dude,
well, and
this is so bad.
it leaves Frankie with a guy alone in front, and Frankie has lost his stick.
And there's no stick.
Yeah.
He's got no help there. He's got no chance. It was like they were trying to steal a shift out of Andreas Englund, and Andreas Englund was like,
How can I make this go as poorly
"This
as
will
possible?
be my final shift." Yep, that was it.
That brought it back to 2-2. The Avs survived the rest of the game, including a penalty for the final 2 minutes, essentially, of regulation.
What was that power play? We were on the watch along, and
Yeah.
I didn't want to get too into it.
It was
but
bad.
I don't know which one of them it was. Holds the puck for maybe 10 seconds, just standing there, just back and forth by himself, and you're like, did the controller disconnect? What the hell's happening? And then he passes it to a guy who gives it right back to him. They make no play, and the puck goes out into the netting, and you're like,
He like launches it into the sky. Like,
you're looking at it like I'm like.
Well, in
I
that
had
last-
to keep my cool on the watch
Yeah.
along, but what the fuck was that?
That last ditch effort, one timer missing net by about 5.5 feet.
It wasn't even close. Wasn't even close. Like
It was moving though. You got all of it
almost
in the
hit Andreas
wrong
Englund.
direction.
yeah, was not on the net.
It was bad.
That
It was seriously. It was that power play attempt. As I was like, you guys are doing an amazing job defending yourselves. You're not doing anything right now. You're waiting for somebody.
Yep.
It was all of a sudden they got to winning time and playoff Carolina showed up.
Yep.
Nobody wanted to step up. Nobody wanted the puck. Nobody tried to make a play. That's the easiest PK that the Avs have had all year.
they literally just stood there.
Didn't
like,
do anything with it.
And it
Sticks
continued
in
to
a
be
lane.
perfect.
We're good. Like,
Didn't do anything with it. It was awful.
I heard you, Megan.
Thank you.
I did not hear you.
I said something awful. No, I just said the PK continued to be perfect. Like, this was what helped them in that first
Yeah.
Carolina game, honestly. Like, even just a Rodriguez power play goal, it keeps them in this. The special teamed, and that was maybe the only thing that saved them tonight alongside Francouz.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Francouz saved the game. That's it.
they get to overtime in large part
True
thanks
facts.
to Frankie. The overtime was.
I mean, we can go through our king of the game and all that right now.
Yeah, we
because
will.
We've got other things to.
Overtime was pretty low octane, to be honest.
Yeah, they kill it. Again, Carolina gets the puck. They have the puck,
And they just don't really do anything with it.
and
Yeah.
and they what was it like a dude fell down and the Avs got the
Yep.
puck, and LOC goes down and takes a shot on goal.
misses wide badly.
Well, it's blockered away, and then you're 50-50 puck,
Yep.
and then the Avs just make a better play from there.
Well,
Tired bodies are out on the ice left and right.
They were tired, but Comfer got off, and Lecky was the one fresh body on. He gets
Comfort
to
was
the
on the ice for the goal.
Oh,
so
was who
It's
got off?
LOC that
got off.
for
Okay.
Lehkonen.
The one body gets off. The one fresh body on the ice finds the open space. Great work to get it over to him.
Yeah, a perfectly executed 3-on-2.
Yep.
Taves walks in and
Pulls
moves
the man.
it to Comfort.
Yep.
Comfort pulls both guys in because he has a wide open shooting lane. Comfort waits it just long enough, makes it easy pass over, and Lehkonen with a great finish.
Yep.
Comfort had a good overtime. Like, he had some defensive plays that kept them in it. Sorry, that was it.
No. I was going to forcefully agree with you. Keep going.
That was it.
Oh,
that was it. Good OT.
Dictator
Comfort.
hammer.
Well,
Smash.
yeah. I was standing there watching with some fans as the third period was winding down. And there was a play near the end where Comfort was like kind of like he didn't have like a great opportunity, but he was in the mix down low. He was kind of chasing a puck, and I said, "Doesn't this feel like one of those dumb games where JT Comfort does something like in the last second?" And while he picked up the primary assist in overtime, but I'm with you. Like I thought, like he blocked that shot that led to the rush going the other way.
Well,
we talk about that with JT Comfort so many times. The dude is invisible for 5 games, and it's like, oh wow, that was super clutch and came up to win a game.
Just extrapolate
all the right plays on a shift and you win a game, and you're just like, I don't know.
Extrapolate on that even further. Set aside the underlying numbers here because the Avs just aren't going to win games in this fashion very often.
Yeah, nobody is.
Right, but what did the Avs need last game in their loss against St. Louis? They needed depth scoring. Who scored tonight?
Newhook.
Erod, sure, you can count him as the top line if you want right now.
Yeah.
But then you get a goal from Newhook, and you get a goal from Lehkonen, which is out there with JT
You get
Comfort.
an even strength goal from Arturi Lehkonen.
Yeah.
Well, and even with Erod, I mean, like, to me, that's he is depth because he's not Makar, McKinnon, Rantanen.
Certainly one of Lehkonen and Erod is not on your top line. So
Right. One of them counts as depth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been your bridge between your top line and your depth, which has been code for baddies at this point. Production-wise. I think a lot of guys are like, I thought Martin Kaut had a couple of really good moments in this game.
Yes.
Didn't come close to producing a point, but I thought there were some good moments for him.
Yep.
Defensively, he's starting to really look good.
We talked about it really early on the pregame about the conversation I had with Logan O'Connor. If you don't have your A game, you have to find a way to bring your B game and be visible in some other way.
Yeah.
And I'm with you, AJ. I think Martin Kaut is starting to get there where, hey, you don't have your A game, you're not producing, you're not putting the puck in the net, but are you visible? Are you as Logan O'Connor put it, are you avoiding bringing your D game and just being completely invisible? That was Martin Kaut's problem for too long, and I feel like he's starting to come out of that.
And you see him as a piece of the penalty kill that goes 4 for 4 in killing penalties. And that's a Martin Kaut contribution that is measured. It adds value, even if it isn't on the score sheet production-wise.
Laid down and blocked a shot.
Very quickly, because we have cooler stuff coming. King of the game. Did we give it to Frankie, I assume?
Yeah.
9-1-7 in high danger chances.
Being a jerk when I was like, give it to Lehkonen. Like,
Obviously, a
there's
dude
one
with
king of the
46 saves is going to get king of the game when you win. That save percentage is ridiculous. Frankie straight stole one for the Avs tonight.
Bednar said what to a reporter? You've asked that 68 times in a row? Now I'm going to go back and watch that. That's
Maybe
spicy.
you did want to be in that presser after all.
Yeah. I mean, I don't ever want to see another reporter get dunked
True.
on like that. That's tough to watch.
In any case,
But anyway, yeah.
unbelievably good game from Frankie all the way around.
Well, and like, what do you say about Pavel Francouz outside of that?
Yep.
He was spectacular. He's the biggest reason. The Avs should get all their points should be broken in the standings from the points that they had before tonight, and then Pavel Francouz should just get 2 points.
Yep.
Like he was.
It was all him.
Like, come on.
It was all
they had
him.
almost 50 shots on goal, and the guy was rock solid. The guy was great. He was great.
I'm gonna give a quick little shout out here. My middle sister, she's had her babies in and out of the hospital and all that stuff. Her little twins. One of them is unfortunately back in the hospital, but the other one, Scarlett, is watching right now.
Hi.
Just giving a nice little shout out to baby Scarlett.
I forgot to tell you, while you were in Finland, I met Brooke.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was at the bar.
Oh, yeah.
She came over and said hi.
She texted me. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was like, she said something, and I was like, oh, well, I'm definitely not there. No, they've been through the ringer a bit here in the last few months. So
Yeah.
they're out and about. They're enjoying everything. They watched the entire cup run from the NICU. So, yeah. So no, they're finally out and enjoying stuff a bit. So, shout out Scarlett for watching the
always
the
fun to have a new fan.
post game right now.
Of the
Yeah,
smallest
Next
kind.
generation of D-gens.
that's right.
That's what we raise out here.
That's right.
That's what we raise.
So, look, on the whole, Is it a game you're happy with for how Colorado played? Hell no.
No, but you win it.
But
and this is what the regular season is about.
And this is the opposite.
This is the regular season right here.
In the Blues game, that's a game you felt like the Avs let get away.
Yep.
And tonight, it's one that felt like they stole, and it kind of balances out at the end
if
of
you flop those results based on how they played, and you were like,
Right.
okay, you got 2 points against St. Louis and Carolina,
and
against
you'd be totally fine.
You're like,
yeah.
whatever. And guess how I feel right now? It's still whatever. You just don't like giving points to St. Louis in particular. That's not fun.
I know.
It was just because of how hard Binnington celebrated after.
I'm sure we had a bunch of people come in late, so just to remind you guys, use the QR code instead of Super Chats tonight. Give that money to Lacroix Hockey.
Yeah, if you are Canadian, you don't have access to Venmo, Super Chats are fine.
Oh, that's
What?
fair. We'll figure something out then.
True story.
Venmo is not
Do they
in
have
Canada?
like Cash App or something?
They e-transfer.
What?
What kind of nonsense?
Yeah, well,
Canada, get it together.
No, you're saying this, but Canada was actually way ahead of this because they've been electronically transferring money for years and not going through services like PayPal.
All right.
Because they had bank to bank. They could just do it.
So
Seems archaic, but all right.
Well, now, but like it's much like
Just
them
tie
sending
this
money to
$100
each
bill
other.
to a pigeon, and he'll find his way to a Canadian goose.
thankfully,
familiar.
we have someone more important than me to be on the show. So, no, you're coming on. I will be out of here, but you guys get to say hi to Milan Hejduk. So he will see you in just 1 second.
Tag in, tag out.
A little line change?
Yeah, I was gonna say, quick little line change here. There it is. Milan, how's it
Guys,
going tonight, sir?
How are you?
Awesome. Good night. Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad, right? How was it for you? Good time?
It was awesome. I didn't watch that much hockey, but,
Yeah.
but yes, Mom, they pull it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Got it. Apparently, Frankie played well, right? I saw
Yeah.
47 shots or whatever was it against. So
Yeah.
it's a good win.
How do you watch a lot? Do you normally?
I do normally. Yeah, I try to watch some games and like not every game, but quite a bit. And yeah, so doing well. I think I don't want to put too much pressure on them, but there's potential chance for repeat. And tonight's game, it could be easily Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah,
Right.
No doubt.
It easily could be.
I was saying this Carolina team. I don't know. They've kind of been compared to the Avs now for a few years. All right, Santa. I'm sorry to do this, but you've mentioned repeat. I want to just ask you real quick about 2002 Carolina Hurricanes. If you guys get through that Western Conference Final, do you think it's a repeat?
It looked that way, right?
Yeah.
Red Wings got it in 4 games or 5 games or something like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was easy, but yeah, it was. I think it was probably the finals, us against Red Wings in 2002.
Yeah.
So it could be done. Obviously, it's not easy, especially this year. The Avs off season was pretty short, right?
Yeah.
It was just a shorter season and a shorter off season. And they have tons of injuries right now. I'm not saying it's because of that, but I mean, might played some role into it. Definitely, guys don't have enough time to rest off season, and you get back at it right away. So
It's tough when you have that kind of routine built up for how your summer looks, and suddenly it's
all of a sudden,
6 weeks.
All of a sudden, it's only 2 months off. Really, and you got to get ready for next training camp. Definitely not easy.
Yeah.
So that COVID played some role into it, and
For sure.
But they're 9-5. They're absolutely where they want to be, and hopefully, guys will get it back healthy, and they'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Winning a game like this tonight, what was that like for you? Was you get outshot by 30, 35, and you still get 2 points.
It's definitely a steal. Obviously, you're heavily leaning on your goaltending, and Frankie, had to be phenomenal tonight. It is huge that good for the team confidence that even if obviously Avs didn't have a game probably, right, or Carolina play well, I like I said, I didn't watch it much, but it's great for confidence that you can pull it off and get a win even when you don't have your best stuff. And goaltender can bail you out. It's awesome. Great to have it in your back pocket. Why not?
Yeah.
So, Pavel Francouz, fellow countryman, right?
Yes, he is. Yeah.
How long did you know about Frankie before he came over? Because I remember he played in the Olympics for them, right?
Yeah, he did. And he played actually in a Czech league. He played not far from my hometown. He won a championship there. So he's a well-known goalie. Played in KHL. Many years, and he was a very solid goaltender. I think one of the best.
Back-to-back goaltender of the year over there. I think, right?
Yeah. So he's well-established goalie, and he can do the job.
Yeah. He's been fun for us to watch. He's just a great guy too. Like having just conversations with him are
solid. Anytime
awesome.
that Jared puts him in the net, he performs, right?
Yeah.
So great to have it.
Yeah, no, I've said I've always felt like he has number one potential. Don't know if he'll ever actually get there, but I mean, we talked about him a ton in the pregame. That he's been a huge boost for this team. Having a good backup goaltender is so much more important than people, I think, give it credit for at times.
Absolutely, and when the playoffs comes, look at last year when Darcy Kemper went down and Frankie stepped in and won 6-7 straight games.
Yeah,
very valuable, backup goaltender, and he can produce, and it's awesome. Great to have it.
Swept Connor McDavid, not too bad.
Absolutely, I mean he's solid. He doesn't have the size of modern goalies or whatever, or I mean guys 6'4", 6'5" now, but he gets it done. He always square to the puck, solid, doesn't give up many rebounds, and I think guys like to play with him for him. So it's great.
Square to the puck. That's always something I've noticed about him. He's not a busy goaltender. He's in the right spot a lot. The puck hits him. He doesn't have to do much. He's just always really square.
I'm no goalie coach, but that's when the goalies don't give up rebounds, always square. Don't have to do miracle saves there. Everything hits him. That means he's in a good spot, and obviously that's what he's doing.
Not a goalie coach, but you've played with a couple decent goalies in your day.
Yeah, I try to just figure them out. Just try to where to score and find some holes. But it's I mean, goalies these are freaking phenomenal. It's just not easy to score on them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We've got Milan Hejduk here, number in the rafters down at Ball Arena. Milan, how fun has this Avs team been for you to watch over the last couple years, just as they've really kind of hit their stride and just kind of the game in general as it's picked up with speed and scoring? I mean, that was in your wheelhouse when you played. How fun would it be to play in today's NHL?
Definitely so much fun, and the Avs, the product they put on the ice last 2 or 3 years, it's so much fun to watch. It's in one way it's be winning, and look at if you look in the history like New Jersey Devils, you can win Stanley Cups, but it's not most exciting hockey with neuters and trap and whatever. But the Avs doing it the fun way, right? They're winning the fun way when outscoring teams and plenty of offense, fast hockey up and down. So it's every fan must love it, right?
Yeah.
It's just not only your team is winning, but it's the fun way. It's watchable. It's great,
Yeah.
So I would have so much fun to play with these guys. Yes.
Yeah. No kidding. AJ, I don't want to hog the questions here.
Talking about injuries and what a win like this does for a player's confidence, I'm looking at a player like Martin Kaut, and I know he's also a fellow countryman. Are you familiar with Kaut? Have you kind of followed his trajectory as an up-and-coming young player? What have you thought of him?
Great player. Obviously, he's getting chance because the injuries we had, and he's been good for Eagles for a while. So this is his chance to put a stamp on it and show Jared what he can do and stay in the lineup for even when some guys come back with injuries. So there's plenty of opportunity now for guys to show Jared that they can play in the league and kind of throw their name out there. So I think it's in a way it's not great for the Avs that they have so many injuries, but on the other side, plenty of opportunity for guys from coming from the Eagles and showing what they can do.
Yeah, I'm gonna change gears on you here a little bit, and I want to talk to you a little bit about Gabe Landeskog. Obviously, it's story's pretty well told now that you had a big part in passing the C off to him at such a young age, and he talked last year that when he first took over as a captain, looking back on it now, he said, I wasn't mentally ready for the responsibility that came with it. What do you see out of him now? Because I've talked to so many people last year as the Avs went on this run and gained to go to these different buildings and national media, and there is a lot of talk about this is maybe the best, if not just one of the best captains in the NHL right now. What is it about Gabe Landeskog that you saw so many years ago and what you see from him now that just makes him so special and he means so much to this team, maybe not in the direct way that like a Nathan MacKinnon does. What is it that you always saw in Gabe Landeskog?
I mean, I think I see similarity with Jonathan Toews in him a little bit. When they had Chicago Blackhawks, they had the run. Very serious guy, similar game. Maybe Landy plays even heavier game than Jonathan Toews. Emotional leader. When games get chippy and rough, he can produce. Like, he doesn't really, nothing bothers him, nothing phases him. He's a big dude. Smart kid. Well, young man now. Yeah. He's probably close to 30, whatever he is right now.
Yeah, I think he's 30 here in like a week.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so man now, but I think he's the perfect guy for this team, and probably many teams would love to have him. So we're glad to have Landy, and hopefully he'll get back soon and get healthy. But he's phenomenal leader. Not only on the ice but off the ice, and I think it's great even for Nathan MacKinnon to have him there, and I'm sure they have some conversation here and there and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I mean, you saw that in him as an 18-year-old that he had the potential to do that.
Well, he was a captain in I think in Kitchener in OHL, and definitely he was definitely ahead of his years mentally. Like, you wouldn't expect that when you talk to him, he was an 18-year-old kid that time. Yeah. Right? Or 19, whatever it was.
Yeah.
He was.
I think
definitely
18.
he was ahead of his time, and then he became better and better, and he's a great leader, one of the maybe he's gonna go down to. It might be tough to beat Joe, but as the greatest captain of the Avalanche, but close to it. Yeah.
No
close
kidding.
to Joe.
Well, his English is better than mine too. I've lived here my whole life, and
he's phenomenal. Great, just absolutely awesome.
Yeah. AJ, were you? I can't.
Yeah, I'm just, when his number goes in the rafters, will it also have a C on it?
I mean, like he will. Like, what did he sign? 7-year deal. He will stay with the Avs.
Yeah.
Till probably his last day and in the National Hockey League. So he'll be in the rafters for sure.
He's coming for your games played.
I hope he's going to beat it. Yeah, he should. Mac too, probably.
Yeah.
They both should.
What was it like for you getting to watch them? Game 6 in Tampa, they actually, they do it. They beat Tampa. They win the Stanley Cup. What was it like for you to be able to watch? I actually talked to Billy Niemanen on the ice after the game there, just saying, what kind of emotions does this bring back? Did the emotions hit you at all, or was it more just? It
did, because I watch it on TV, obviously, and it, like, just try to going back when what I went through and when we won it in 2001, and I was just so happy for the guys. It's been so many years, right? 21 years of ups and downs, and just not easy years for the Avs fans, and they finally got it done, and and they were probably favorite the year before too. So it's not easy to get over the hump, and they couldn't get past second round, really, right? Yeah. For a number of years, and sometimes it just takes this, the experience of some painful losses, go through it, and then you figure out something that what do you have to do, and everything came through for them, and I was so happy for them. It was awesome. Still, some guys on the team I play with, EJ and Landy, and bunch of staff around around the team, and so I was texting them and really talking to them. So it was cool. It was fun. I was so happy for them.
You made mention of you have to, they went through some painful losses, and Nate MacKinnon talked about that with us after that. Looking back on it now that they've gotten over the hump, going through those really painful losses to Vegas and to Dallas, he said that's what helped prepare them for the adversity that they faced. You guys lost to Dallas in Game 7, I believe it was 2 years in a row, right? Yes. Before the 0-1. Yep. How much do you think that actually, molded the teams that you were a part of into who they were? Yes, there was a lot of great players, yourself, Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg, but going through those losses, how much does that actually prepare a team to go through what I gained a ton of appreciation for, just how tough it is. I was just doing the travel. I wasn't doing any of the games or the workouts or the video. I think it's so much tougher than people give it credit for. How much do you need to go through those losses?
Well, and for us, it was a little bit different too. Like, so we lost 2 Game 7s in Dallas in conference finals.
Yep.
Back to back. So we were like, home ice advantage is going to be huge.
Yeah.
So the next year we won the President's Trophy and had a home ice advantage for Game 7s. So that was huge. But you learn from these painful losses. You do learn. See the other teams, how they do it, how they do their business, what they do, how they react in tough situations. You realize what it takes to win these tough hockey games, tough series. Like it's a grind. Like I know people probably, people watching on TV don't realize how hard it is to win 16 playoff games when everything is on the line and you play against the best teams. They're on their top of their games, really. They are.
Yeah.
And then you mix up with some injuries. Teams have to stay healthy, or the key guys have to stay healthy. It just many things come in play and into it. So it's an unbelievable grind, and and then there's such a relief at the end that it's over and you won it. It's just an awesome feeling. There were so many guys that we talked to after that said, like, more than happy, I'm relieved. Like we did it. We got to the end. Like it was so fun to see that for them. Just relief, I think is a great word for it, that you put in so much work and like, we did it, more than like the excitement itself. Yeah, and then you spend so much time with the guys, like not only the whole season, 82 game season, but the whole 2 months playoff run. You spend a lot more time with them than with your family. That's your family, really. Yeah. And you live and die with every win and loss. So it's just great feeling to share with the teammates. Such an accomplishment. Yeah, no kidding.
How was your post-cup partying compared to theirs? Because theirs was
the cup didn't even make it off the ice before it was dented.
I was just crazy, but not this crazy. Like I actually, I was part of it with them a little bit too, but not not right after. But it was the cup looked a little beat up. I don't think we damaged the cup.
No,
right? I don't think so. It was great. Like we went all kinds of bars and everything, like these guys did, and you gotta celebrate it. You gotta enjoy it because it doesn't happen too often, really, right? Yeah. We had a great team. I've been part of, and we were in the Stanley Cup Finals only once. It's just not easy to get in the finals even, and never mind to win it. But I guess when the Avs get to the finals, we win it. Right? Yeah. So we have to get there more often.
Right. I was going to say 3-0.
3-0 in the finals. That's not a bad record.
Not bad. You make a great point about how tough it is to win, and I think people do lose appreciation for that sometimes. And I think about some of those teams that you were a part of, Ray Bourque, Paul Kariya, Teemu Selanne, some of these all-time greats, and it's just the league is that, like, it's that difficult to get through a regular season, 4 rounds.
So many things can happen, and we had a great team. So how many times we lost in the conference finals, Game 7? I think it happened 3 or 4 times in my career.
Yeah.
So we're 1 game away from Stanley Cup Finals, but just don't get there, right? Because the other team is, you can run into hard goaltending, you run into some injuries. The other team is just outplaying you simply. Right. There are some good teams left, right? Yeah. When you're 4 teams left or whatever. So just not easy to get in the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
We got Milan Hejduk here, former Colorado Avalanche captain, here on a Lacroix Hockey night. We'll pause for a second just to talk a little bit about Lacroix Hockey. The theme of the night is about growing the game. Milan, you and I talked a little bit earlier about how great it is to see the NHL starting to make some of these steps, not only locally but overseas into Europe, things like that. Can you just talk a little bit about what kind of Lacroix Hockey is doing and growing the game? I know you play a huge role in that as well.
Yeah, Eric is doing an awesome job and tries to grow the game in Colorado through youth hockey, through grassroots. I think any success of the Avalanche also helps tremendously to spur the interest in hockey and I think overall all these years, I've been coaching youth hockey for a while. You can see how improvement there is every year after year after year. The amount of kids play hockey, it's just growing great. So it's awesome for the state of Colorado, and Eric is doing a phenomenal job. what he's doing in the family sports, what the facility he built up there, and I think it's going to only grow. So I'm glad to be part of Lacroix Foundation and help out whatever I can.
Yeah. You mentioned that about the facility at Family Sports. If you haven't gone down to Family Sports to see it, go see it. It's something that I think the state of Colorado has been needing for a long time. I know you coach AAA, some pretty high-level stuff. Have you ever seen anything like what they built at Family Sports here in Colorado?
No, it's great, and I don't know if you guys seen it. What it was before, it was just like
Lollipop Park.
Lollipop Park, exactly. and I'm sure it was fun for kids and everything. But like we needed some workout facility, and Eric and and Mitchie and Clarky did an awesome job, and they just so many hockey players can and probably people from other sports too can use it and enjoy such a great facility. So it's great that they built it there.
So I think we got Eric up here. So I'm going to ask you one last question, just as for everyone at home. Aside from the Stanley Cup, do you have a number one moment for you with your time with the Avalanche that you say aside from winning the Stanley Cup, this is my favorite memory from my time there?
Other than Stanley Cup, I don't think it would be just a one moment, but just all my 14-year career, it's been a blast. Obviously, there were some great moments, some not so great moments, ups and downs, but overall, I had a blast. It was awesome. You end up meeting great people, playing and battling with great guys, and I wouldn't change a minute of it. It was just great 14 seasons. Well,
Milan, we get all kinds of love for you in our chats and all that stuff all the time. You're definitely a beloved figure here in Denver, and we can't thank you enough for taking the time out to come up here and chat with us and just be here tonight in general. So seriously, thank you so much, and come back anytime.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Milan. Thank you.
Take care.
All right, so I think we've got Eric Lacroix ready to go. We'll do a little bit of a change out here. Yeah, that's right. Thank you so much, Milan. Thank you. And we're bantering. This is just AJ and I right now. Yeah, I was going to say.
All we have to do is just say the word banter.
How's it going? Great to see you. Find your way through all the chaos tonight?
Oh, yeah, it's been good.
Good.
Did I mess this up?
Just go ahead and pull it. Oh, I think it should be good right there. Oh, is it falling?
No, it's full.
I'll tell you what. You want to switch me here?
What's that? No better?
Nailed it.
Good?
I think you're good. Oh.
He'll fix it.
We got the producer
He'll make
coming
it good.
in.
Yeah.
We got the big guns.
He did great. I did. Sorry, man. I apologize.
Should have just had him sit over here. That's my bad.
I was going to say, Rudo's messing everything up over there.
Could have dropped the ball on the plan.
Well,
No, you're good.
never mind.
How's that? Good?
There we go. All right.
Good night, huh?
Great night. That you beat me to the first question. Pretty good night so far.
It's been great.
Was it a great night? Great question, Jesse. Great question.
Loaded question. Did you have fun? No, I'm just kidding. Eric, thank you so much for taking the time out to come up here and chat with us. You're doing really important work. You and I talked very briefly the other day at Family Sports, and Milan touched on it there. Do you want to just kind of give the folks a quick little rundown of what Lacroix Hockey is doing and what you guys have kind of stepped into doing there at Family Sports?
Absolutely. I mean, what we've done is the old Lollipop Park, right?
Yep.
I'm sure you guys have been on.
We had season passes, of course.
Passes or whatever it was. It was sitting empty for a bit.
Yeah.
And David Clarkson and John Mitchell were involved in youth hockey and the AAA program in town, and the city of South Suburban's been awesome. The Dobbs, Bill Dobb, and his staff, and somehow they felt there was a need. Not me. They felt there was a need for some sort of a facility, so for teams that are in there, that are skating there, to benefit from some off-ice training and all that kind of stuff. So, and then with my dad passing away, and then my mom moving in with us, and we decided that maybe it's time for me to stop traveling, working in the NHL. It's 4 or 5 days a week, gone.
Yeah.
I mean, as a scout, I'm talking about my last 4 or 5 years I was with the Flames, and as a scout, you are out the door 4 or 5 days. And I just felt that it was a lot, and maybe it was time to come home, so to speak.
Yeah. Yep.
And so Clarkson got a hold of it that I was going to try to do something, so maybe some shooting bays and some all of a sudden, and some sort of foundation under my dad's name, which is why we're here tonight. And then, so like, why don't we just kind of put the two together? And I joined forces, and that's why I joined forces with Clarkson and Mitchell, and it's been great. I mean, like I said, we're great partners with the city of South Suburban, and Bill Dobbs and those guys have been fantastic, and we feel fortunate to be in there every day, and it's fun. For me, I love going to the rink. It's in a different capacity now than as a player or management or a scout, but it's still a rink, and it's fun, and it's fun to go in there. And I got kids in youth hockey still. Wow, my oldest is now gone. He's in prep school in Boston, but my youngest didn't play hockey before, and then all of a sudden he wanted to play hockey. So I'm like, all right, I thought I was done with all this youth hockey stuff, but now,
5 a.m. practices are back.
Well, that was yesterday morning, 4:45. So, so it was kind of exciting to get back, and it's fun. I mean, it's fun to give back to the community. It's fun. I love this community, and obviously 1990. Well, I got here in '96. The summer, I missed both cups, right? So I'm, like I said, it's fine. And then I got here, my wife's from here, and the kids were all born here. So for us, this is home. And so it's great to be here, great to be part of the community, and no better, I mean, we're biased, but no better community in the hockey community. So.
No, absolutely.
What's it like building up that level of the hockey community here? Obviously, there was some hockey here at the small, young kid level, but they're, compared to Canada where it's every corner has its own hockey team, basically. What's that been like?
Well, if I can compare it to, because I was here, like I said, in '96, right? So if you go back to, and I'm going to use old names, right? So because I'm older, I always say I'm older. I'm not like those young guys.
28,
now.
right?
Yeah,
right in there.
29 years old.
Yeah, okay,
then,
that's what I figured.
Yep, and then so you go back to when I was playing here in '96. Single, young guy, but I remember the Waz, LaFaves, who else? I mean, no, Joe's kids were actually, Mitch was just born, but anyway, guys that my teammates that had kids, there was youth hockey in the community, but not like it is today.
Right.
I mean, if you go back, there's probably Littleton, there might have been the DU Association, and I think the Springs, that was it, and then now the number of rinks have, double, triple, probably since then. Because I remember getting some ice back then was tough in the summer. I came from LA, which was really tough. Then I got here, I'm like, it'll be easier, and it was tough. You don't get ice in the summer to skate and everything. So not that we skated back then.
Off-season training was a bit different.
It's a little different. I remember Sakic coming in all the time, and he'd look or I'd see him, or we didn't have cell phones back then, but all of a sudden be like, hey, do we have ice? I'd be like, yeah. Well, I was like, all right, training camp's in 4 days. All right, maybe I should get on the ice. And that's how it was. And Patrick Waugh would show up, and I'm being honest with you, like, he hadn't been on the ice once, or, you know what I mean? It's
kidding.
A different world.
Yeah.
It's a different era. But, yeah, sure, it's been so different than back then. And now all those kids, I mean, the Avs have a young team, so, I mean, again, I don't know who they have, whose
who
kids
has kids and not,
youth hockey, whatever. But I can tell you, there's a lot more options now than there was back then with those guys. It's a big difference.
So I just gotta. So when everyone was giving Phil Kessel a hard time a few years ago for saying that he hadn't skated all summer, you guys are like, that's right on par.
Again, I'd like to transform myself to today's. First of all, I wasn't fast enough, so I wouldn't be able to play in today's world. So don't worry about it. But looking back at it, I'm like, I think it's what they know.
Yeah,
I think it's what the kids know. I always talk about it with the visor too. Like, we didn't wear visors, and if you did, not a lot of guys did, but we came up like not wearing visors, and now all of a sudden now these guys, they don't know any better, right? And I'm not saying you shouldn't wear a visor. I mean, I think we were dumb not to wear visors, but there's a big difference. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that's what they know. And there's a big European, what do you call that? Like, influence.
Yep.
Like Hedgie, like he was just here, like he was crazy with his kids. Not crazy, but it's, he had the rink in his built
house. His own
beautiful facility in his backyard.
Yeah, and then the boys were on
We
the
should
ice
have asked him, was he the Zamboni driver? Did he make the kids do it?
Oh yeah. I couldn't answer that. I don't know, but we should have asked them.
I was gonna say we missed it. Yeah,
but it's a little different. I think it's what they know. So nowadays they train more. It's more a 12. I mean, again, this is a 12-month. in the NHL. It is. I mean, it's a 12-month business. It's so different than back then. And I know it's the usual line. Like back then, you showed up in camp to get in shape, where now you show up and you're probably almost overtrained. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a little crazy, but it's a little different. But, everybody adapts to every generation, right? So
Yeah. So just kind of going back a little bit to Lacroix Hockey Foundation here. We've got the QR code there up on the screen. Please make a donation there. You guys are normally great with the Super Chats. Save the Super Chats, send them over to Lacroix Hockey. But I do just want to circle back a little bit to the facility that you guys built at Family Sports, because I was sitting there the other day kind of marveling at it, saying, I've never seen anything like this in Colorado. It really is kind of the first thing of its kind here in Denver locally?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, somewhere, somehow. I think you see it more back east. Like I said, I go a lot in Boston area because my son's down there, my oldest. But, to get back to your question, though, it's more like we got 100 feet of turf. So I do believe, and going back to the skating all the time, I do believe you get better away from the ice, especially in the summertime. And I think that the turf's important. I think that strength conditioning is important, depending on your age, obviously.
Sure.
Quick feet. How do you get faster off the ice? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't care what people say. This is where you get faster. You get faster off the ice, and so we felt there was a need. And obviously we have some shooting bays, which a little back then. I mean, Cindy Crosby and the washing machine. I think everybody's seen that. Right? So again, back then we would just shoot at our parents' garages door. I mean, the garage doors would be all dead. But nowadays, they have those tarps. They got everything. So we felt that, we put a couple tarps in there, kids. And, believe it or not, like, we have kids that sign up for lessons all the time. With Danny Perez is one of our skills coaches. And it's lined up every night just to get out there and, shoot pucks in your sneakers. And, maybe a little bit of the technique about shoot pucks. And kids love it.
Yeah.
And in the back, you can't even see it right now, but Pat Carnes, which was the athletic trainer for the Avs for, I'm talking about 95 till maybe 2008.
Yep.
So Carnesy and his partners have opened up a physiotherapy place in the corner. So it's kind of a one-stop shop, so to speak.
No kidding.
Obviously, we got our locker room, especially for our camps in the summer. We have the locker rooms that we do the laundry. We treat the young guys that are from town, like USHL kids and guys that are coming back home for the summers. It's been great because we do their laundry. We treat them like pros. And, so it's been awesome. So kids are all excited to get back this year, and college kids. And, we call it the pro group, so all the way down to like U8s. So it's kind of nice. We feel it's a one-stop shop, and, we feel, not important when I'm saying we feel we feel that it's important for people to be around and go back. And Peter Budai is our goalie coach, so he's the one that it's in there.
Nice.
We have the virtual reality.
Do you guys have that VR goalie setup?
Yeah, goalie Sense Arena. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So
what you're saying is the next crop of great goalies is coming out of Colorado?
Yes, it is. Well, I'm a goalie dad, man, so I take care of goalies.
There you go. So you mentioned that about it is important to have somewhere that people can go shoot. The amount of drywall that my dad had to repair in the garage, just furious as a kid. Yeah, shout out to my dad real fast for fixing all that. I could have. He would have loved if I had a place like what they've got set up.
There's something to breaking drywall and make you hit the net real fast.
I tell you though, I used to. When I was shooting on drywall, I used to shoot in a smiley face. Yeah. So when he would replace it,
Hey.
it was a smiley face.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious.
Eric, do you have anything? I mean, I know we've talked a bit about kind of what it is. Do you have anything that you want to plug a little bit in terms of Lacroix Hockey and what it is? Or, I mean, is it just kind of everything we've been talking about?
Yeah, you guys have been great, honestly. DNVR and the whole family and all you guys. And I'm a big fan, and AJ knows that. I told him that years ago. Been following you guys, and
it's true. I can confirm the story.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm being honest, and it's great. And I think I'm not the best guys with computers and technology. I'm not.
You guys should have seen this man type one time in the press box.
It's a one finger.
He was like, told me, he was like, don't make fun of me.
No.
And here you are.
He starts hunting and
here
pegging.
you are making fun of him.
I saved that story for years.
I'm awful, and I admit it. But I tell you one thing. For example, as a scout in the National Hockey League, though, I think you got to use the tools that are at your disposal. And I was telling him back then, you know what? again, my kids they teach me how to do this stuff. So I mean, so Twitter and everything. So I remember started following AJ, and I told you one time, I said, you know what, you do a great job with the prospects. And at the time, I think you were doing a big thing on prospects. And I tell you, it's important as a scout to, so I started following guys like, AJ from, different. I was covering the West, so I had all the 15 teams, whatever in the West. So you start covering guys that you think are, knowledgeable or, and you can get some information. And believe it or not, it's a very important tool. I don't care what people say, but it's very important, and it makes you stay on top of your teams. And, so it's not just for fans, but it's also, I don't care, they'll tell you, and they all do it, and they all do it. So I mean, they all do it, and that's how you get your information, and that's your job, right? You got to be on top of that team. So the Avs is my team. I got to be on top of them. So I follow AJ, I follow you guys, and I would now. I'm talking about a few years back, So the easiest thing to do is then you gather your information, and you get to the meetings, and you feel confident, and you're like, you know what, I've done my. Again, if you're a worker and you're a good scout, I'd like to think I was, but
I was.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, some people don't. You know what I mean? But that information is priceless. It really is, and he knows that. I mean, you guys know that. The analytics, the eye test, at the end of the day, it's the relationships on the press box is probably what's the most important.
How often we talk about that?
I mean, it's so true, right?
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, or the media room or the press. I mean, I don't care what people say. That's where you get yourself. That's where you get everything, and even more so in the American Hockey League too, because you'll have, I don't know, like in the press room, you'll have a meal with maybe your former teammate that's now the assistant coach, and he's like the D coach of that team. So then you have that relationship, and next thing you know, you don't even know they're telling you all about that prospect or that guy, but they are, in a good way or bad way. And it's not like they're selling the other guy. They don't even know because you're friends. And it's like, next thing you know, you're like, all right, well, perfect.
You're like, just keep talking.
Keep going. So it's nice, and I think for me that's a big part of the job. And I think the press meal, the press box, is very important.
Well, and it's so funny because we talk about that in terms of it's so fun because you meet people who share your same passion.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And you just, that's like the one place where you can get in there and you can kind of hockey nerd out a bit, and everyone wants to have those same conversations, and that's what I think is so fun about
it. Is like that's where our relationship began.
Absolutely.
Was in the press box.
We would just sit next to each other during games, and we would just talk about the game.
That's it.
There wasn't anything special. There wasn't there's no secret sauce to it. It was the people who are passionate about the game.
Yeah.
It's obvious.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are there every day. They're the ones who are paying attention.
Yeah.
They're the ones who can talk to you about the guy that's playing on the fourth line on the left side. And what's he good at? What's he bad at? Because
absolutely.
he's watching, and it's it really is like that passion. Like passionate people are attracted to passionate people.
Yeah.
And you can tell when you're in that press box and you're around, and even some other scouts. There were some scouts that I was around that you could tell that they were like, all right, here we go again. And like there were some that were a lot more invested in it, and it was interesting because you weren't actually the first scout that ever came up and talked to me and built that relationship. There were a couple of you guys that Denver based, of course.
Yeah.
You guys are always there.
Yeah.
But it was cool to build those relationships and kind of like have those conversations, because you would, there would be guys that would, and it was interesting. I didn't know it at the time. I was just like, oh, this person wants to talk hockey, but they would ask me about what's going on with this guy, or what do you think about that guy, or how's this guy been in practice? And there was one trade deadline in particular in which one scout continued to ask me about how a guy was in the locker room that was on the Avs.
Oh yeah.
And I by like the third conversation that we'd had over like 2 months, I didn't think a lot about it until towards the end, and they didn't deal for that guy. But I was like, oh,
he was asking for a
get
reason,
it now. Like I get he's asking me what this guy is like on a day-to-day basis from my perspective.
Yeah.
What does it look like from here? And it's interesting how decisions get made in the NHL, because so much goes into it.
I mean, I could tell you many stories. I mean, we could be here for the next couple of days, but it's very important. I always tell my kids, you don't know who's watching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's a practice. I can tell you instances like working with the Avs that I've sat by buses outside a hotel with sunglasses and a hat, and flip-flops and just see how guys interact with fans on their way to the bus. Just see how, I'm telling you. And I'm not telling you I'm special. A lot of guys do it too. But on the road, you're on the road. Instead of sitting in your hotel room, you go to practices. Same thing. You do wear a hat, something, if it's an open practice. Because when you spend that many years in some
People
sort of,
recognize you.
you know people, right? So it's like, next thing you know, you watch how guys interact in practice, how guys are with their teammates, how guys are with, are they going through a slump, and are they real? I mean, there's no cameras, and it makes a big difference. But you got to be careful, because I'll tell you a quick one. Like, one time, I'm telling you, I was in San Jose one time.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt the story, but we do have Adam Foote coming on the show right
oh my
now.
God, we don't like Adam Foote.
So it's turned out to be a pretty interesting crowd here. So
Tag
Footer,
out.
get on here.
So
That's okay. Put it upside down.
hey,
How's it going, man?
how's it going?
Well, man, thanks, buddy.
Hey, yeah, thanks for jetting over here. So we just
The snow, it's pretty icy out there.
is it slick?
Going home, yeah.
So you were in San Jose, you said?
No, I was saying, like, San Jose, I'm sitting there and by the bus, and you just kind of, instead of taking a nap, you're just kind of watching. And I'm just saying, you got to be weary sometimes of what I'm saying, because you got to have all the facts, and sometimes you don't have all the facts. I won't say the guy's name, but you're sitting there, and I'm sitting there, and there's in San Jose, and Footy knows, like in that whatever Santana Road's called.
I was going to ask if it was him that this story
it's
was
not
about.
him.
Yeah.
But so guys are coming on there on their way to the bus, and there's always a little rope, and guys are putting their luggage on the bus, and there's like 4 fans, and they're there, and the guy's by himself, and they're like, "Hey, can you sign this?" And I'm like, I'm just sitting there, just like I said, sunglasses, ball cap, watching how the guy reacts.
Undercover.
Then I'm like, wow, he's not even giving them the time of day, and it's like, it's weird.
Yeah.
And then the guys are just saying like, "Hey, can you sign this?" And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm almost getting mad. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, man, could this guy turn around and acknowledge these
Acknowledge
fans?
them,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, it's important. I feel it's important. And I think, guys like Footy, since 96, I mean, guys have been awesome here. I think the guys here in town have been awesome. So I'm kind of getting frustrated a little bit. I don't want to say anything, but I'm like, and next thing you know, it lasts for like, 3-4 shutouts, and nothing happens. I'm like, well, I don't like that guy. I'm being honest. Now you paint the picture of a guy, right? Right or wrong?
Yep.
And then that year, trade deadline comes, and then there's this name coming up. I absolutely not. I said, this guy is not a good guy. I'm telling you. And then we start arguing, and where do you get your info? I'm like, buddy, I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Like,
I
I saw it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
Long story short, that's why I'm saying you got to be careful sometimes. The guy was partially deaf. Did not have his whatever.
That was not a plot twist I was expecting. I won't lie.
I'm telling you right now. And then I'm like this, like, what? No, I don't buy that. And it was true. So what I'm trying to say is sometimes you got to be careful with, if you don't have the whole picture.
Yeah.
You got to be careful with your info. Even though I saw it with my own eyes, I was wrong.
Yeah. Well,
And the guy was a good guy.
Hey, there you go. Fellow good guy, Adam Foote, makes his way down here. Another former captain of the Avalanche. We got two of the 4 on so far tonight. Adam, thank you so much. You were on the altitude broadcast, and you made it down here. Can't thank you enough for making it down.
It was promise Eric. I mean, I know this has a lot to do with his father, and when he asked me, I said, of course, and then with what happened to Peter McNabb, and then Eric's filling in, I'm trying to fill in, and someone had to do it, but I wanted to make sure I got here because, Pierre was a big part of Colorado hockey, but our lives too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's just start there. Do you have a Pierre story that maybe
Got lots.
sticks out in your head? We were going through his list of Pierreisms earlier, and I loved just about every single one of them. Just the stuff that he'd say over and over. Do you have any story that jumps out?
There's lots, but I mean, he came to this team in Quebec and then moved here with us, and he was all about I Say family, and then I saw it firsthand when our second boy got sick at 4 months. Pierre was the first one in the hospital.
Wow.
His wife was, and he he was there like right away. I don't even know how he found out, but and then when we all had our kids, our children were born, he was there, and he really was genuine about it, and so was Coco, his wife. Coco did a good job with the other wives, bringing them together. You have so many different cultures and people from all over the world, and guys get traded in, or young guys, and I think Pierre understood that if the house is good, the family life's good, everyone's, he was transparent with what was going on. He was so good with the wives, him and Coco, that he knew they then maybe would have felt guilty if they didn't let us go to playoffs and play hockey. You know what I mean? Not that all of them, and not that there was a problem, but when you expect your wife to be at home with 2 kids raising the family, and you've got to go to a hotel in downtown Denver and rest. It's big on them, and it's big on us, and he was really good at that. But there's a lot of Pierre stories I have, but he was really good to me too. So
it's amazing to hear that, because I feel like a lot of what we hear on the outside is you remember him for being the guy not afraid to make a big trade and shake things up, and I don't necessarily want to use the term cutthroat, but very business first, and so it's crazy and it's awesome to hear those kinds of stories that once you were on the inside, like you use the word family, that's amazing.
I have to tell this story. I think I've only told it once, but players play with injuries, things happen, and I had a banged up shoulder, and they put me in a brace, and I'm sure Eric's played with a bad shoulder, but
a few minutes.
But I was taking bad penalties, like I was being very reactive and retaliating, and Pierre came down one day, and he never comes down. Like he came down that I've seen 3 or 4 times where he was upset. Yeah. And he grabbed me out, and he goes out in the hallway, and he goes, "Footer, come here." He goes, "You okay?" And I go, I'm like, it's like the principal. I'm like all nervous all of a sudden. I'm like, "I'm good, Pierre." And he goes, "Taking a lot of bad penalties. What's going on?" I go, "I always take bad penalties." and he goes, No, like you're taking more than usual. And I go, "Well, Pierre, I'm hurt." And I go, "I'm like an animal in the corner, and I'm just jumping at guys, just trying to protect myself."
Yeah.
He goes, "I get that. I understand that. Just stop taking bad penalties. We good?" I go, "Yeah, we're good." And that was it. And he walked away, and I had to manage my anger when I was sore.
Couldn't just keep the scratching and clawing going.
Yeah. But I liked him that way because he didn't embarrass me.
Yeah.
He didn't come down and, give it to me. He treated me with respect, and it was good. It was fun.
And he asked you the question, is everything good? It's not like what
the
hell is going on kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And really, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because that is what this night is all about, is Lacroix hockey and Pierre Lacroix himself. One of my favorite things now is the little display memorial. I don't know how you want to phrase it at Family Sports.
I think this is a really underrated thing, because for me, it always felt like the Avs, and especially after Pierre's passing, like they felt like separate entities.
Yeah.
And having that there as a constant reminder every day when you walk in and you see it, it feels like it ties the eras together. It ties the franchise to what Pierre did, and everything that he gave, not just to the Avalanche, but to Colorado hockey in general.
Yeah.
And I think that's because the first time I saw it, I was like, I love this. I love it because it is a reminder, as time passes, like you take for granted the things that have happened. You take for granted the things that people have put their lives into.
Yeah.
And to have that there to honor him and all of his accomplishments, it meant a lot to me. So I could only imagine what it is like. And then you do get, there's so many kids that play in that rink that see that, and that they will know, they will grow up understanding, that before Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon and Joe Sakic, the GM, there was Pierre first.
Yeah. Well, it means a lot for you saying that. It's great, and I'm biased, and I know Footy's biased, but there's a lot of similarities to this team. When you go back, and it's funny because Footy's sitting here, but. Yeah, there was no salary cap back then. There wasn't. But they had their own internal budget in here. You got to remember, this team almost lost its team. You know what I mean? There was no building with McNichols, and Pepsi Center took forever. And then you had the offer sheet from the Rangers to Joe, and then Liberty Media to jump in there. There's a lot of stuff that was going on. And then the salary. You got to remember, I think the 96 payroll was 16 million.
How much?
16. So, I mean, and then if you go back to the next year, it goes like that. There was
Joel
an
had
internal.
10 of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you know what I mean? But they were built, and to go back to that era, it's a lot like this year's, or last year's edition.
Yeah.
It's very simple what they made. They knew that winning was going to cost money. They knew that they didn't have a building. They knew that a building was coming. So the way they, and Foote's here, but the way they said it is, we're going to keep the goalie.
Yep.
We're going to keep the defenseman right there. He's right next to you.
Yep.
And then you had 19 and 21.
Yeah.
And that's what the Avalanche were based on. And again, no offense to anybody, but all the other guys were in, and that's how you explain it. Like they were interchangeable parts. So Mike Ricci, Scotty Young, or guys that were starting all of a sudden to produce and to win. Next thing you know, they were going into their contract year. They weren't staying. And it's not nothing against these guys. They were built that way, and it's a lot like here with McKinnon, Makar, Gabe, and then there's going to be some casualties.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kadri.
I'll say you lose.
I'm just
Kadri,
saying that's
yeah,
just the way it is. So obviously there's a salary cap system which makes it a little different. But back then they had their own salary cap, and the decision by Pierre was, I'm keeping 52, 33, 21, 19. The rest they'll be there for a couple years, and then they'll have to move on. But at the end of the day, it's all good.
Yeah.
And and then you got to make trades sometimes in Blakey, and then whatever, like the persona and Denmarsh, and this guy's a bad man, and next thing you know, I mean, people think it's easy to make trades. It's not. It's not. But that are my dad. I mean, they've always been great friends, and after that it was all good. But it's funny because then you're like, oh, you bastard, you know what I mean? Like, but it's funny because it's a business, and like Foote said, it was good for him to be personable, but he didn't like that persona for people to see him. But he's big as softy guy. I mean, this guy cried every day, so trust me. But then people
He
thought
definitely
that
did not have the persona of being a softy, I'll
and
tell
I can
you
tell
that.
you, like Keith Jones that played with Foote and I, like one time he walked on the bus and he was like, his head was down, and he sat next to me on the bus, and I'm like, what's wrong? He goes, buddy, I just had a breakfast with your dad in his room. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. He goes, I feel for your childhood, bud. And if Jonesy is, right? He's very sorry. But he was like, oh, buddy. Like, oh, but it didn't go well. Like, but it's funny because at the end of the day, it's a business, and it's all good.
Yeah. So, not quite as bad as having to eat breakfast with him in his hotel room, the hallway story. Yeah. So he just mentioned that we've talked about that a lot last year, just the similarities between this current rendition of the Avs, specifically the one last year, and the 01 team. Do you just kind of have any insight into watching that group last year? You got a pretty up-close look at them, right? Playing against Tampa.
Yeah, I mean, what are you asking me?
just the similarities between what you saw last year and the team that you guys had in 01 in terms of the depth and the star power and all that kind of stuff.
Should I bury someone?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, do it.
Yeah, bury whoever.
No, I remember being at Cup Party talking to Joe, and we're trying
last year or your
Sakic,
guys'?
and we're comparing teams.
Oh, yeah.
Him and I. And I'm going to start an uproar here. But I'm like, what do you think? We're going back and forth. He goes, it was different rules too, by the way, right? We could, I probably would play with a different stick in today's game. It wouldn't be as heavy.
Leave a third period stick in the locker room.
I did have a third period stick.
I'm sure you did.
But I didn't care about breaking that one. Yeah. But no, it's hard to compare teams as far as who would win if you met in a match.
Right.
But then when we were talking about him, going, wait a minute here, Kemper's good, but
I
Waugh
knew
was
that's
better.
where you were going. I knew that's where you were going.
And then I go, McKinnon's great, but he can't score like Joe.
Yeah.
And Forsberg changed the game.
Yeah.
With his, I mean, Forsberg and Crosby jumped on that. Like cutting, it used to be called reverse hits. Now they teach cutting hands. So you go for a puck, you teach everyone to cut the guy's arms first.
Yeah.
And Forsberg taught everyone how to do that.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, who knows? We were probably slower, but if we had to play in today's game, we'd be faster, eh, Eric?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All the off-season training kicks in, right?
That's what I was saying earlier, yeah.
I think you play for what it's I don't like to discuss war because there's actually that's going on and people have to go do that.
Yeah.
Thankful they do to protect us. But when you're out there, you have to know your battlefield, who you're playing against, what's coming. And it's so different now. Like we used to go on sometimes I couldn't sleep. I had to have a row of Oreos watching my favorite show just to take my mind off who was going to beat me up the next night. I'm like, so when I took 2 rows, my wife goes, "Oh my God, this guy must be way tougher than you." Yep, and he's coming.
But on the road, though, he used to room with Patty. They used to watch Golden Girls, just so you know.
Yeah.
That's what they used to watch.
Patty had the remote. I respected him for the first 3 months, and I roomed with him for, 8 years or something. And within 3 months, I go, all right, I get the remote. And I go, what are you going to do about that? And
I've watched every
I
season.
took the remote because he loved Murder, She Wrote.
Murder, She Wrote. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I was
Favorite
wrong,
show.
sorry.
He's at the end of the bed just like this. And I go, dude, it's the same at the end of every show. She figures the case out. It's
So great.
like, you don't know this is coming? But then he ordered room service all the time. He liked to have dessert, banana split all the time. Right? And he ordered, and I go, all right, you're not ordering anymore, because he had a real French, like he spoke French. Oh, yeah. Big French accent.
Yeah.
But he came across, there was no please and thank you. So he came across rude. I go, I'm ordering from now. He goes, why Foote? And I go, because they're going to spit in our stuff. Like,
You sound super rude.
Super rude. I go, give me the phone. And then we used to have pillow fights, him and I. Once a road trip, every 2 road trips. He never beat me.
Yeah.
Shocker. He's a little pipsqueak. Out of shape, but he would stand up on his bed and he'd go, let's go. And he'd be swinging like this.
Oh,
with
yes.
one pillow. Like he's got 2 hands on one pillow. I go, no, not doing this.
Yeah.
And he goes, come on. He always thought he could beat me. And so I always grabbed 2 and I'd spin him real tight. And I'd just fake him and he'd throw, and then I'd lock his one pillow up and just demolish him.
All right. Whoa. I never in my life thought there'd be strategy to pillow fights. But there you go.
Patty made it easy.
So when we all kind
Tyson Berry
of, that's where I was going next. When Tyson Berry hurt his knee at World Championships, pillow fighting.
Well, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah,
I knew he got hurt off ice, but I didn't know it was pillow fighting.
Coincidentally, I think
more than I
that was Waz's first year behind the bench. So that's why he probably didn't dog him or anything. So he's like, yeah, no, I feel you.
Been there.
Yeah.
So what did you change the channel to?
Anything but Angelo Lansbury. Angelo Lansbury was out. And
That's great.
Anything but Angela Lansbury.
Yeah.
A sentence I didn't think I would hear in my life.
No kidding. No, everything about what you just said, I did not ever picture that ever. Let's go back to the final a little bit. Obviously, your son's playing in Tampa at the time. Was that a weird series for you to watch?
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was weird because he was in the lineup, and then was it the start of middle of the New York series, I guess he was taken out.
Okay.
And it was tough. And it was tough on him.
Yeah.
But then again, it was probably tough on everyone. It was weird. If he was in, it would have been tough. If he was out, it would have been tough. But, obviously, blood is thicker than water, and I wanted Tampa to win.
Right.
But when my son was out, it was easier to cheer for Colorado. And we had a box with a bunch of people, and our friends, Colorado scored, and they look back, sorry. I go, no, cheer. Like, come on. but it was really, the only time I felt like that was when I couldn't stay here and I went to Columbus. It's the only other time where I went, like, it just felt so wrong that I wasn't cheering for the Avs and that thing. I felt so guilty. Just like I felt awful that I wasn't playing with them.
Yeah, no, it's. I think we actually even talked about it on a show right before the series shifted back to Tampa. I think someone like anecdotally brought it up. Like, I wonder how Adam Foote's feeling right now. We're like, oh man, yeah, that must have been like you said, made it easier when they scratched him, right? It's like, forget them.
I mean, a win-win, right? I mean, think about it. The Avs get to win one. We're alumni. We won here. We got a chance to play in a great city. We want to see these guys win a championship.
Yeah.
Like, it makes us feel great. We all, I'm sure, Eric does. I still look at where I played junior hockey. We see how they're doing, right?
Yeah.
I'm a Greyhound. It's it's who we are, I guess.
Absolutely. No, it's it is such an interesting community. That we were talking about earlier. That hockey and then Colorado and just kind of what this whole night is about in Lacroix hockey and growing the game here. It is amazing to see So, my family moved to Colorado in 1994, so we got here right before the team moved here. And I just remember, my mom and my dad talked so much about that. We came from a state where there were no pro teams, and they talked so much about the community, just the sense of community you felt right away. And then growing up being a kid playing hockey in 96 and 2001, just seeing the love for the city. And I think you're seeing a bit of that now. Have you guys seen kind of an influx in dealing with the youth hockey in the last few months here?
Well, I mean, I'll answer that one. And Foote was on. I don't know if you guys saw that documentary, the Red Wings and
of course,
and us.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Foote's got a great line in there. And when the team got here in '95, they're here in August, and they're here for a promotion or something like that, and they're trying to get in the Cheesecake Factory.
Yes,
and, right. I mean, I'm just saying, but it's funny how how many years has it been now? Like anyway. Is it 27?
Yeah, 20.
I mean, whatever it is. I'm not good at math, but it's funny how
we all
back
talk
then,
hockey because there's very little
but
math.
you got to remember, and I go back, and sure, these guys here are awesome. But back then, I wasn't here the first year. I got here the summer after the Cup. But those guys were here, and they're pioneers in the community. No one knew who they were. No one. And they're the ones that paved the way for everybody else. And then obviously, and then I got it in '96, and all of us, whatever it was. But nowadays, it's so different, because you look at the logo and it's been around. But back then, like even some people didn't know. And I'll tell you a quick one. We used to practice at DU. And remember, we used to get in our cars and drive there from McNichols. And oh my God. Anyway, so I used to drive with Joe, Patty, and Keener. So I would drive.
Not a bad car to be in.
Yeah, but everybody was in their gear. We only had our skates in our hands, and Patty Watt would be fully geared though, with skating guys. And we got pulled over on I-25 because I'm a bad driver. And I'm not kidding you. Cop came to the door. We're all in our gear. Sacking's in the back. Keener was in the right seat like this, and he's fully geared. And I had a blazer. And then the guy goes, license and registration. And I'm like, well, I didn't know what to do. And then Mike Keene is,
funny guy.
He's not. Yeah, he's a little crazy. He's in the back, and he's basically telling the guy to shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, hey, And then Patty's like, "Does it look like we have our license and registration
on hand?"
But at the end of the day, like, it's not like if you saw that 27 years later, it'd be like, "Oh my God, this kid." But back then, the cops looking at us like, "Who?"
I don't want to interrupt you, but I thought you were going to tell the Mike Ricci story. Didn't he drive back to McNichols from DU? With his skates on and skate guards and his gloves and his helmet. All he did was throw a stick in the car, and the cop pulled him over. I guess he gave him a ticket because he goes,
"No way.
I have to give you a ticket.
Yeah.
It's not safe. You can't do that."
To be driving with your skate guards on?
And no teeth. Like,
no teeth.
Yeah.
Reach. But it was crazy. Like, it was so different back then. And I got to go back to the Cheesecake Factory, meaning like, how do we get in? It's a Friday night, and there's like 20 of us, and that's why in the documentary, Footy's funny. He's like, "Joe, you go to the front of the line," but they have no idea who Joe Sakic is. You know what I mean? Like, we're in Quebec City, those guys were gods. I mean, I'm telling you right now, it was crazy. So it was a big adjustment, but you know what? Guys were in the community all those years, and obviously paid off. But it's a great hockey community, and I think those were the guys that were pioneers, and that '95 edition, so.
Yeah, what a difference it is. And I need to go back to the documentary thing there, because I was watching it with a buddy, and I'm sorry, I just have to bring this up to you. We were watching this, and the guy I was watching it said, "Man, the story of this is kind of mistold. It's the hit on you that really kind of started all of that. It's framed a lot as the Draper hit." But when you watch those series of events in succession, it's the hit on you that really kind of starts everything, no?
I think it started, Lemieux hit Draper because of the hit that was on me. But, and I'm not trying to be political. This is common sense and logical.
Yeah.
We met them, 6 times in the playoffs?
Yeah.
And I thought, no disrespect to the rest of the NHL, but I thought there was a good 4 years there where we were the 2 best teams
100%.
in the NHL. So it was sad that we met in the semis. But think about this. And I said this, and I'm not sure they played it because I didn't watch all the documentary, but I said, guys, what happened to Draper or what happened to me was going to happen eventually to someone, because you play that often against each other. Things happen. Even if it's not intentional, things happen. It's a fast game. It's mean. And then you're trying to fight their power forward, like in the corner and win the battle. And then you're going on that to the goal, and then you stick the goalie.
Yeah.
And then the next thing, it just goes on and on and on. So I really believe that would have happened anyway, that rivalry. And I'm telling you right now, Bowman was happy it happened that way. He's happy that Draper's not seriously hurt. It was bad.
Yeah.
And we're glad he wasn't seriously hurt. But Bowman knew we had the edge. And when that happened, then we were off our game for a couple of years going after McCarty and Draper instead of focusing on their better players.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, too, Drape's like, you don't want to see him get hit, but it's part of the game. But you know what? He's still getting a lot of attention on the hit, isn't he? Like, oh my God.
Yeah, no, it was really interesting because I remember all of that, that stuff. But you make a great point that was kind of the one part that I felt was not necessarily left out of the documentary, but there was so much less emphasis on what made that rivalry so great for so long was two great teams meeting each other in meaningful games year after year.
Listen, in my opinion, it was like a Hollywood documentary where they needed a victim and a villain.
Yeah.
Where I think if they would have made it, who cares what I think, but if they would have made it, there could have been so much more with Fedorov and Forsberg. I mean, the Nike swoosh skate guy, and then Forsberg, that Olympic gold medal goal, and then his compete, and then you look at Sakic and Yzerman. There was so much more to it
Right.
than, but they were selling. I think they were selling to the big picture.
Right.
Was villain and Lemieux hitting them and Draper
Big
the victim.
bad Colorado. Come on.
I mean,
But
it's just,
it was crazy to be
it's
part
TV.
of, though.
It's TV, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
But it
so-
was crazy to be part of.
Yeah, but I mean, if he would have hit me, Kozlov, I mean,
Well, he did hit you.
no, I know when he hit me. No, but I mean, there's so many other hits that were bad that just so in that one my head hit the glass. But there's so many bad hits.
Didn't
Yeah.
Joe throw a body check to him that way? Who did he hit in the corner? I was like, his only body check was
Joe
career.
Sakic.
Remember? He killed the guy in the corner.
We don't need Joe hitting,
I
right?
know, but I was like,
You don't want him to get hurt.
yeah.
See, I always think of the Scott Stevens hit in
World Cup finals.
was that game 7 or
Anaheim.
no against in the 01 finals. It was game 7 or game 1 where he
game
rocked
one.
Scott Stevens in the
was game
corner.
one.
And
Joe did, yeah.
Oh,
and-
sorry, it wasn't Detroit. Sorry, it's Jersey. You're
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
and I just always laughed.
Remember
yeah.
that when he did that, we knew our bench. We were like, well,
Yeah, there you
your
go.
captain, a goal scorer, plays that physical.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Peter and Joe. What I loved about the two of them, as most guys like Dasu Zetterberg are the same, but Peter and Joe never got pushed out of a game,
Yeah.
and they showed up on the road. They showed up in a back-to-back.
Yeah.
They showed up in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Where we were cold.
Well, look at Joe's stats on the road.
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
unbelievable. So that
Phenomenal.
was their gift, was the more physical defenseman couldn't push him out of a game or series, which I really respect.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's funny, like when you mentioned that earlier about comparing, the couple of the eras of the teams, and Nate
I'm just
has
stirring the pot. I want Nate to get mad and win another one.
well, but, because he's got a little bit of that where
Love it.
he shows up in those big moments and he's hard to play against and stuff. But it is just so hard when you think back to some of those moments with Joe and Peter. I was actually just telling someone the other day, he maybe is one of the greatest what if in hockey if his feet had held up. I mean, he was already so great. How much greater could it have been, kind of thing. And it's just funny when you talk about this player versus that player across eras. Forsberg's the one that I have a hard time drawing a straight parallel to.
Do you remember when he retired in Sweden?
Yes, he walked.
Can I tell it?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Oh my God! So Peter took us on out the night before. The whole team went to dinner and all that. Had a good time.
Yeah.
And Pierre said to me, I don't think I told you this, Eric. I had surgery in the summer on my shoulder, and I wasn't playing till like end of October, November.
Yeah, I remember.
And we're going to Sweden for preseason. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I feel bad for you guys. I don't have to go. I'm not playing. And Pierre comes to me and goes, Foote, you're going on a trip. I go, Pierre, my arm's in a sling. I go, I'm not even on the bike yet. Like, I'm not even training yet. He goes, you're going. I go, all right. We go, and we're out the night before, and I'll never forget, I'm walking down to the dressing room, and I see Pierre. Remember I told you he's not around a lot down
Yeah.
there? Like,
Yeah.
he's around, but not where we are. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he's like, he's got his foot up against the wall, and he's like, he's like this, and I'm thinking, oh my God, my eyes are bloodshot. I smell like booze for sure. You know what I mean? And I'm going, wait a minute, I'm not playing this strip. I'm okay. Like, I can't be in trouble. So I made the walk, and it was like I was nervous. Like, holy chum. He goes,
Is he going to stop?
and he goes to me, did you know? And he goes, did you know? I go, know what? Like, I did not know.
Yeah.
He goes, you knew. I go, I know what? He goes, your buddy's retiring. I go, who's retiring? Like, I didn't hear that. He goes, Forsberg's retired. I go, come on. I go, where is he? He goes, he's in there. He goes, you get in there and you talk to him. And I went in. Forsberg's in a suit, and I'm like, Pete, what's going on? Like, he didn't tell us.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You know. And
What year is this? I'm sorry to interrupt.
01,
Oh,
where
okay.
we went over just before 911 happened.
Yeah, that was a weird trip.
The next night it happened, the next day. So I said, Peter, what's going on? He goes, my feet are a mess, Footer. I'm dying. I'm hurting. I can't do this anymore. I go, yeah, but play these 2 games.
Yeah.
I go, that we came here because
Because of you.
you're the Swede. You're the guy. We don't want to be away from our families to start the season.
Yeah.
He goes, Footer, I am so done. I'm so sore. I can't do it. And I'm going, is everything okay? Like, is there something else? He goes, no, that's it. I go, okay. And so we're went along a little bit longer than that. But so I come out, and Pierre's there, and he goes, what'd he say? And remember, I got the sling on, and they go, he's retired. And he just shoved me like he was so pissed. And then he holds a meeting.
Yeah.
Pierre comes in and announces it. I couldn't believe it happened that fast to the group before practice. And he said, guys, just want you to know Forsberg's retiring. And everyone was in shock.
Yeah.
And then funny guy, Todd Gill, comes over to me. He came from Toronto, defenseman. He comes over to me. He goes, come here. And I feel like it's just what Pierre did. He brings me in the trainer's room, kicks the trainers out, closes the door. And he goes, I go, what? He goes, is this really happening? And I go,
Holy smokes.
Pierre just said it. And he goes, I came to Colorado to win a Stanley Cup. And he starts belly laughing. And I'm starting to laugh, like what's he laughing at? And I go, what are you laughing at? He goes, I came to win a cup, and the best player just quit.
Oh.
So, and I'm like, I think we were all sad, but scared, sad. I don't know what the emotions were. It was so.
It was a weird trip, too, because 9/11 happened, and that was.
While you guys were out there.
The next day it happened.
Yeah, it's the next day. So it was kind of a crazy day. And then, if you remember, and again, we're not making light of the situation of 9/11,
Right.
but we couldn't get home.
Yeah.
And,
That was going to be my next question. Was when you
And
guys
so
stuck
there was
there.
a big team meeting, and you remember that? There was a big team meeting, and Pierre and the league are trying to figure out how do we get our guys home. I mean, how do we get out of here? And then Patty Waugh, it was like a little fight in the locker room about like a 16-year-old kid arguing with his dad. And remember, he raised his voice with Pierre, and he started yelling at Pierre for everyone. Well, we need the truth, and we need to get out of here. And Pierre's like, what? I think Vice President Gore at the time. I think he had to somebody like drove
Cheney?
to. Was it Cheney
Cheney?
that drove
Yeah.
to Newfoundland? I remember, like, it was something crazy. There was no air traffic. We couldn't get home. And long story short, they started bickering in front of everybody, like a 16-year-old teenager and his dad. And it was crazy, and it was a messy situation. Long story short, they ended up getting a charter. And then remember, there's some PGA guys that were in Europe. Remember, it was like not the Ryder Cup, but it was it was like a charter, and then they picked us up, and even reporters and whoever was the
Pierre
lead
was going to
people.
get us home, right?
Well,
Like,
that's what
'cause
I'm saying.
The
Yeah,
world
yeah.
was up, and what's going on here?
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was a crazy couple days.
Well, like you said, not to, take a hard turn off of 9/11. I have to know how this story ends because obviously Peter Forsberg did not retire in 2001. So
Peter retired and came back.
I came back in the playoffs.
Came back in the playoffs.
was that 01?
No,
when he
it's
didn't
not
play
true.
A game?
Not
No,
true. Not
he-
true. Came back in April. So okay,
So it
I'm
was
ready to
02.
go.
So we went in 01 September. We won the
Yeah.
cup
Yeah.
in June 01.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. All right,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah,
all
yeah,
right,
yeah.
all right. Okay,
And
that's
then
right.
he actually decided to come back in like February, and then he didn't pass his physical. So his
Damn.
ankles were. Then he still had to get another surgery. Came back game 1 of the 02 playoffs,
And he was great
And he
that
led the
playoffs,
league in
right?
scoring, I
he led it
believe,
in
that
scoring.
playoff.
Yeah.
Scary. He's such a freak. Like
Yeah.
talent.
Freak.
So I asked Milan, I'm in 02, You guys lose in Game 7, and it was Carolina, so that was why I was asking him. If you guys win that
We
game...
lost to Carolina?
No.
Carolina
I'm
won
sorry.
the cup.
Yeah, they
No, they won
lost to
6.
Detroit. Yeah.
Okay.
So in 02, you guys lose to Detroit in the Western Conference Final. Detroit goes on to, I think, either sweep Carolina or beat them by
I think it was
4 to 1. Yeah. Looking back on that, is that you guys probably repeat if you get through that year with the team you had?
I don't think us losing that one doesn't bother as much as us losing to Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
And then Dallas takes the Brett Hall Foote pass
Oh,
or whatever.
yeah.
On Hasek against Buffalo.
Yeah, 99, right?
I think, you got to remember, and I said earlier, Colorado, Detroit, no disrespect for 4 years, but you got to remember there's great teams. It's hard to win, but I thought that's one we let slide.
Yeah.
I thought we should have had that one. But
99.
it's but Game 7 against Jersey, anything could have happened, right?
Yeah. No, it was a pretty wild run that you guys had for a few years. Where when you really start thinking about the conference championships and stuff, I mean, it was.
Yeah, we didn't even know. We came from Quebec and we didn't know we were that good.
Yeah.
I remember my dad telling me at Christmas, "You guys, you're pretty good." Are we? Like, it's like Colorado. I like Elway and the Broncos, and it's great snow here and mountains.
Yeah.
We were so young. Like,
Yeah.
we were winning all the time, and we didn't even realize.
We all lived at the Breakers. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like you said, it's funny because you get the team has been around for so long now. You mentioned, the logos right now. There wasn't even a logo on the ice when the team first got to Denver. Was it Red Dog? Beer?
Red Dog, yeah.
Remember we
Center
were wearing
ice?
black helmets at home
With the whites.
white jerseys. I love them, but the league made us change them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe because
I don't know.
camera. I don't know.
So you liked the black helmet with the
I
white?
did, yeah.
So because
But I like the old jerseys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The old color of
It was like
the
a darker.
way-
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an Indian red. It was good.
Yeah. No, it was great. I love that they actually did the black helmets for the Coors Field game, white jerseys with the black helmets. Because I thought it was a nice little nod to the original look. Yeah, no, for sure. Do we have any questions or anything? Are we good?
No, we're good.
Okay, cool. All right, I think that we're about good. We've taken plenty of your guys' time. We can't thank you enough for being so generous. Seriously, Foote, thank you for making the trek down here quickly in the snow and all that stuff. We've had a great time tonight. Honestly, this has been a blast. We have that Venmo code up there on the screen. Any of the super chats that came in, we will be taking them right over to Lacroix Hockey to make the donation on behalf of all the listeners. Make that donation. It's an amazing thing that they're doing to help grow the game. I came up playing hockey in Colorado, so anytime we have the opportunity to expand that footprint and get more people involved, I'm all for it. So thank you guys so much for coming on tonight. Seriously, anytime, anything that we can do for Lacroix Hockey or just you guys in general, we are more than happy to be a part of it. So thank you guys so much, seriously.
No, we thank you, and thanks to all the guys like Foote and everybody who came tonight. So it's awesome, and we can't thank you enough, and you guys have been great. So from Lindsay to everybody here, we just want to say thank you, and it's been fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah, no, same goes for us. It's been great. Can't wait to do it again. For everyone who's involved behind the scenes, Eric, Footer, AJ, I'm Jesse Montano. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll be back at it here tomorrow.
No, tomorrow's off day.
Saturday. We're off tomorrow. Saturday for the game in Washington. Thanks you guys so much for listening.